Good day, everyone. I am Paula Cristina Figueroa, your presenter and also one of the author of the thesis entitled Disinfectant Synthesizer Using Electrolysis for Automatic Utilization of Sanitation Kiosk. And the following are the authors and co-authors: Jesse S. Alemania Jr., Daryl Diego, Kenneth S. Llagas, Kate Fatima V. Tenorio, Aldrin J. Soriano, Florante M. Andaya, Erickson A. Mandayo, and Annalisa F. Sigen. For the introduction, coronavirus infection or COVID-19 was first reported in Wuhan, China in December 2019. The infection is caused by the severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has suggested various disinfectant against COVID-19 counting hypochlorous acid. An ideal disinfectant and sanitizer should be non-toxic to skin, non-corrosive, effective in a variety of ways, and relatively inexpensive. Electrolysis is a chemical reaction that occurs when an electric current is transmitted through a substance. Methodology: the disinfectant synthesizer using electrolysis for automatic utilization of sanitation kiosks is a design project adopting the developmental type of research method. In this type of research, an existing technology will be developed at least one aspect. Respondents of the study include experts to properly evaluate the functionality of the device. It includes 3 electronics engineers, 3 instructors in the field of engineering, 2 chemical engineers or chemists, and 2 IT specialists or computer engineers. Questionnaires were distributed to the 10 experts. The disinfectant synthesizer using electrolysis for automatic utilization of sanitation kiosks is a design project adopting the developmental type of research method. The project development also includes several experiments to be conducted by the researchers, which are necessary for the setting of the device. The project development summarized in figure. The project development defines the process and activities that the researchers will undergo for the development of the design project, from the formulation of the concept to the finalization of the final prototype. The researchers also visited several libraries like Digital Libraries, Scopus Review, and IEEE Computer Social Society Digital Library. The researchers integrated the information gathered in the digital libraries and compared it with the information from the internet. The researcher used several recording tables to tabulate all the results in each test conducted. Every change in parameters and the results of each change was recorded accordingly for the comparison of every variation to come up with the optimal setting of the final prototype. Statistical treatment of data: they used weighted arithmetic mean with the 5 options in each item: 5 for excellent, 4 for very good, 3 for good, 2 for fair, and 1 for poor. And the arithmetic means were also used for the prototype characteristics. The overall assessment was calculated using these means. System design: this is the hardware design. It illustrates the block diagram of the process involved. The power supply will convert the AC voltage to the DC voltage required by the electrolysis element and other modules of the device. The design project will utilize an electrolyzer chamber as the electrolysis element of the process. The chamber is where the salt and distilled water electrolytes up to the set pH level to produce disinfectant. The next destination of the disinfectant is the sprayer, where the sprayer is automatically on when the sensor detects motion. These chambers are controlled by Arduino controller. Arduino controller is the main controller of the device, which utilizes its mode to accurately control the whole process. And here is the software design for the electrolyzer and for the sanitation booth. And now we will go to the result and discussion. The disinfectant synthesizer using electrolysis for automatic utilization of sanitation kiosks is a device for converting distilled water and salt into disinfectant solution that can be used as a mist in the sanitation kiosk. The table shows the result of the collected data of several testing and experiments conducted by the researchers in the deployment of the design project. Table 1 is the ACC and pH level from the duration time. You can see the ACC and pH level, and the average pH level using the analog is 5.36, 5.26 using digital, 5.5 using test strips, and 50 ppm is the average ACC value of it, which is the desired ACC value. Now, we will go to the test report of disinfectant testing sample come from our disinfectant synthesizer. The disinfectant testing test report was provided by Standards and Testing Division of Industrial Technology Development Institute, Department of Science and Technology. The sample provided came from our disinfectant synthesizer, and the sample-free dish, which served as negative control, had no inhibitory activity and no reactivity against the test organisms. The sample solution A shows complete inhibitory activity with mild reactivity against the test organisms Staphylococcus aureus. Oxacillin-1 UG, which serve as positive control for Staphylococcus aureus, produce complete inhibitory activity with severe reactivity against the test organisms. Now for the sample solution B, it shows that it produced complete inhibitory activity with mild reactivity against the test organism Pseudomonas aeruginosa, amikacin 30 UG, which serve as a positive control for Pseudomonas aeruginosa, produced complete inhibitory activity with severe activity against the test organisms. And for the last sample solution C, it displays no inhibitory and no reactivity against the test organisms Candida albicans. And the sample solution use and the positive control for Candida albicans clotrimazole produce complete inhibitory activity with moderate reactivity against the test organisms. And the overall evaluation of the prototype with the overall mean of 4.46, which is interpreted as very good. Conclusion and recommendations. We conclude that electrolysis of distilled water and salt can be converted to green and sustainable disinfectant solution. The analog pH meter can accurately monitor the pH level. Just use buffer solution. The optimal time to convert it is 40 minutes, 5 volts of voltage, and 1 ampere of current. The PIR can accurately detect motion and automatically sanitize individual using missing system for 5 seconds. The overall acceptability rating of the design project is 4.46, interpreted as very good. For the recommendation, we recommend to install a high-grade water pump, design a smaller version of the chamber, create a more reservoir for more storage of disinfectant solution, and create a system to dilute the value which is greater than 6.5 and storage when it is less than of 5. And based on the evaluation, create distillation system to the current system to avoid the use of the commercially available distilled water. And now let's watch the actual demonstration of the design project.
Disinfectant synthesizer using electrolysis for automatic utilization of sanitation kiosk. The electrolysis process will only start if the contactless sensor detects the critical level of the solution chamber. Putting salt and distilled water to the electrolysis chamber. Mixing the salt and distilled water. Fast forward of 40 minutes electrolysis process. After electrolysis process, the pH level of solution will test using the analog pH meter. The analog pH meter is stored in buffer solution, then it will move to sprayer where the excess buffer solution will remove, then it will go to electrolysis chamber where the pH meter will start to test the pH value of solution. After the test, the pH meter will go back to the buffer solution. After testing the pH level and reach between 5.0 to 6.5 pH level, it will go to the solution chamber. After the electrolysis, we got 5.49 pH level, which means we passed the set pH level. This is the solution chamber of our device. After making the solution, the electrolysis chamber will automatically clean by distilled water. Five liters of solution can disinfect up to 160 persons. Actual misting using the disinfectant solution.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Midas Angelo M. Araneta. I'll be presenter of the controlled environment for spinach culture plant with health analysis using machine learning. So the authors of the said study, we have Mr. Midas Angelo M. Araneta, Mr. Daniel V. Asento, Mr. Carl Jeremiah L. Lambrea, Ms. Argeline May L. Reyes, and for our co-authors, we have Engineer Oliver A. Medina, Engineer Annalisa F. Sige, Engineer Mariel M. Cabal, Engineer Aldrin J. Soriano, and lastly, Engineer Mary Grace P. Biano. And for the outline of the discussion, we have introduction, methodologies, results, and discussion, and conclusion and recommendation. For introduction, the impact of crop loss and other agricultural products that might compromise our food security and its supplies as a result of extensive damage caused by natural phenomena such as climate, weather, bugs, pests, diseases, and other similar events. With this, the researchers came up with a question of how does technology can help with the said issue. So with the help of Internet of Things, of machine learning, and sensors, the researchers conducted a study about controlled environment for spinach culture plant with health analysis using machine learning. So to address the said issue on how to monitor the plant health condition, the researchers developed a mobile application that could help to monitor the temperature, the humidity, and the soil moisture. This Internet of Things-based remote sensing utilizes sensors for gathering data and transmitted to the analytical tools for plant health analysis. Here is a sample images of healthy and unhealthy spinach. And for methodologies, as you can see here in figure 1 is the machine learning architecture. First starts of the process is the training sets or the data sets. Then it will goes to the machine learning algorithm. Once it goes to machine learning algorithm, it will goes to the training model. Then it will verify by the accuracy of test sets. Then it will go to detection label. Next is the data sets. Here in table 1 shows the plant parameters. On the first column, you can see the classification. Underneath of the classification is the healthy, unhealthy plants, and no plants. And for the next column is the training sets. The total of training sets that we collected as 10,233. And for the test sets, for the testing sets is 1,136. And for the numbers of images that we gathered is 11,398. Here is the sample of the data sets from our database. So this is the sneak peek of the healthy spinach and unhealthy spinach, and it is saved in our directory or in the database. Machine learning algorithm. Machine learning is another important factor to consider while choosing the right quantity of datasets to find the patterns in training datasets, which is used to approximate the target's function, and it's responsible for the mapping the inputs to the output from the available datasets. So here is the training model. This slide shows the figure 4 feature instruction. During our training, it is a process of algorithm calculated its arrays with the tremendous codes, instructions, techniques, and methods from the acquired datasets. The method used in this study is the feature instruction. Here you can see in the grid box shows the segmentation of the images of the feature instruction. Okay. In this slide shows the test sets. Testing sets is the unused images of datasets. And the purpose of dataset is to give initial idea whether it's learning of successful or not. So in this table 2 shows the detection testing. In first column, you can see the category, which is the testing sets and the actual sets. So in testing sets, we have the accuracy rate of 99.65%, and the standard error is 0.35%. And for the actual test sets is 98.2%. 80%, and the standard error is 1.20%. Then is the detection process. So figure 3 shows the detection process. The process starts from the raw images taken by the camera. After that, the image is processing, resizing the photo. Then after it being resizes, then it will convert into segmentation of array. Once being converted into arrays, then the training model loaded the basis of detection and classifier that contains and from the labels and datasets. Once being converted, it will transfer to the classification, which it will identify which categorization of the dataset it is. So if it is healthy or unhealthy spinach or no plants. Then once it's been identified, it will output it to the mobile application or what we call it, the Spyman app. Then is the results and discussion. For results and discussion, we have controlled environment for spinach culture plant with health analysis using machine learning is designed to automate the monitoring of health condition and growing of the spinach. So for the parts of the control environment, we have figure 4 shows the design prototype of control environment for spinach culture plant with health analysis using machine learning. So the top part you can see is the control environment system, which acts as the main brain of the system. And also we have the 2 fans and humidifier, which helps to cool off the controlled environment. We have the intake fan and the exhaust fan. And here we have the camera A, camera B, which captures the image of the plants. Then we have the grow lights, which gives us the artificial sunlight to the plants. And also we have the switch, which has power up the entire system. And lastly, the control environment water tank, which supplies water to the plants. And additionally, we have sensors that's being installed in the prototype, such as the temperature, humidity, and soil moisture. Here is the Spyman application interface. Spyman or Spimon derived from 2 words. So Spy means spinach and Mon means monitoring. It is a mobile application that can help indoor farmers to monitor the health condition of the spinach. This app has various features in order to display the spinach status inside the controlled environment. So here is the better view of the application. Here you can see the home, which has the introduction and how to use. How to use has a video on how to use the mobile application. Then we have the dashboard. Dashboard shows the temperature, the humidity, the soil moisture, the light status, the water level, and the air ventilation. Then the status device. If something happens on the device, the application will notify the user. Then we have the operation schedule. Here on operation schedule, where users can set their preferred time in military standard time. And also we added a recommended setting for them. It will be user-friendly. Here is another view of the application, which is the spinach monitoring. Here you can see that the plant 1, our prototype can hold up to 6 plant inputs. So here you can see plant 1 up to plant 6. So in plant 1, 3, and 5, you can see the plants are healthy. And for the plant 2 and plant 6 is the unhealthy. And for the plant 4 is no plants. And here's the example of another healthy spinach captured in our control environment. And the third photo is the no plants captured in our controlled environment. Then is the spinach plant health monitoring. In this table shows the plant status for weeks, health, appearance, and height of the spinach. So here is the actual images taken in controlled environment. And the spinach, the monitoring of the spinach starts from the day 0 up to day 45 with the corresponding actual detection and appearance of height. This table shows how effectivity if the detection starts on day 25 and the functionality of the controlled environment. Next is the detection results. The findings of the detection tests inside the control environment are summarized in this table form. So plants are classified as healthy, unhealthy, or no plants. In each categorization, the test was repeated 5 times. Control environment can store up to 6 inputs, like what I said earlier, which is healthy, unhealthy, or no plants. There will be a total of 30 attempts in each plant, with an average of 94.44% accuracy. For the healthy, on this table, you can see the accuracy. So for the healthy, the accuracy of testing is 96.67%. and for the unhealthy is 93.33%, and for the no plants is 93.33%, with the total average of again is 94.44% accuracy rate. For conclusions and recommendations. Conclusion. Number one, machine learning uses learning algorithm and data sets that uses for detection of healthy and unhealthy spinach. Number two is control environments. Controls the environmental parameters such as the lights, then regulates the temperature, humidity, and water's irrigation using the system embedded on the prototype. Then third is the application is used for the output of the prototype. All the results could be seen on the application, and the microcomputer could be retrieved data from the application and uses it as a basis of its instruction and could be used for detecting and monitoring of the health status of the spinach. Number two is the recommendations. Adding the image processing in the machine learning for algorithm that is used for determining the actual accuracy of detection and improves the accuracy of the detection with the image processing based datasets. Number two is the applying the solution of rich nutrients into the soils and water and adding sensor that determine the lux or lights intensity of the grow lights and install peltier that can cool off the control environment with planting in a cold sensitive plant like the spinach plants. And number three is the developing a web-based application that could be used for output of the prototype where the results and data could be seen and adding a GSM-based internet for internet connection could retrieve data from the application and uses it is as a basis for its instruction and could be used for detecting of monitoring the health status of the spinach. And that's all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. This is the design project about traced contact tracing and physical distancing device with the blockchain technology for pamantasan ng kabuyaw. One of the non-pharmaceutical methods of minimizing the risk of getting infected of COVID-19, as stated by World Health Organization or WHO, is to reduce the contact between infected and uninfected person, which is called physical distancing. This also include contact tracing to track people who may have been exposed with an infected person. But the Philippines is doing this in a conventional way or approach which relies on the memory of the infected person. So the Department of Health or DOH set the distance of the 3 feet or 1 meter per physical distance. This is not guarantee that the people will follow since they cannot measure the distance between them with their naked eyes. So nowadays, people can now go to the mall, buy necessities and ride public vehicles, and sometimes forget to practice physical distancing, which makes it impossible to trace everyone a person has been in close contact with. Establishments such as malls and fast food chains are doing contact tracing by filling up health declaration forms. So the Philippine government developed an application called Stay Safe PH to lessen the paper transaction by scanning the QR code on the establishment. But this application have still complaints about their privacy concerns. Due to the above mentioned problem in terms of traceability and privacy, proponents decided to help and develop a device where the user can be notified of practicing physical distancing, especially in pamantasan ng kapuyaw. The proposed device goes along with a web-based user interface that uses blockchain technology as its decentralized storage. Since the privacy is vulnerable matter, the advancements of technology is needed to highlight the security of data user that the province utilize a decentralized storage, specifically blockchain storage, which is a digital ledger that is distributed to all its network. This is the methodology that the researchers or proponents use. First, they research the topic, planning of the project, then along with the function management is construction of the project, then the final project. This is the flowchart for registration, which is instead of paper, we use it in a system or a user interface. As you can see, this is the flowchart for the device, for flowchart for exchanging data from each user and have and save to the blockchain. This is how the this is how the project or the prototype works, or the wristwatch on how to save it to the blockchain. Then this is the concept for the blockchain storage system, how the data works in the blockchain. Then this is the criteria in sensor reading and social distancing using DW. If the wristwatch or the or the tracelet is more than 1 meter, it will not trigger. But if the two user is less than 1 meter, the device will be triggered by lighting up the LED to notify the user that there are less than 1 meter. And this is if the tracelet is triggered, so the data read is 1, if not 0. Then if the data is not or the device is not triggered, so the other user will not receive a message. But if they are contact less than 1 meter, the message, they will not notify the other user in case they have contacted with a positive patient. This is the pictogram of the device, LCD, which is the ESP, and the DW, the sensor that sends the range of from one device to other device. We use a Arduino Pro Mini to in order to we use microcontroller Arduino Pro Mini because the device is small, so we need a microcontroller which is only with a small size. Then the LED will light up if ever there are less than 1 meter. Then this is the home page of the system, and this is where the user registration is they needed to input. Then this is the result of the device, which is if the device is on, they are all connected, and if the device and device 2 is on, they still connected. But if since the device 3 have a problem with the sensor, they cannot receive. So if the device 3 is on with the device or device 1 or device 2, they will not connected. And also the all devices off, it will not triggered and not connected. Then the data will not stored if since the device 3 has a problem, it will not the data will not exchange and will not stored in the blockchain. But if all the device is on, the data will exchange. Also, device 2 and device 3 is on, they will exchange and save it to the blockchain. Thank you.
A pleasant day to all. We are the paper number 126 with the research entitled Innovating Green Wall, a Sustainable Way of Enhancing the Vertical Planting System. I am Daniel Matthews, and here with me are my fellow co-authors, Paul Michael, Hannah Faye, Mark Dave, Engineer Annalisa, Engineer Oliver, Engineer Aldrin, and Engineer Erickson. Agriculture plays an important factor in the growing economy of a country. It enables a country to produce its products that is instrumental to its growth. The problem of agriculture in the Philippines is more of planting sustainability, urbanization, and innovation to plant growth. As technology began to emerge, it helped change and improve people's way of living. In terms of the agricultural part, people quickly changed the way of planting from the traditional way that uses machines and animals to plant a horizontal farm, which costs a lot of time and manpower to advance in efficient way of farming. All in all, what we want to answer in this paper is one, how to sustain the need of a plant to grow. Second, how the study shifts the traditional farming into a modernized way. And last, how is the vertical farming better than traditional farming? To answer our first question, we describe the following advanced technologies that can be used in farming, and they are hydroponics, aeroponics, and aquaponics. Hydroponics, which plants roots, are immense in a continuous flow of nutrient-based water. However, aquaponics is the same as hydroponics. Instead of depending on the main reservoir containing a nutrient solution, a container of live swimming fish that will be the source of nutrients. And aeroponics is the process of growing plants in an air or mist environment without the use of soil or an aggregate medium. Out of these three, hydroponics is the effective one due to its flexibility and ease of innovation whilst modified. In our way to modernize the farming system, we created a prototype that includes a water level system for both the reservoir and the nutrient system, adding a trimming system, and an Android application to monitor the system in real time and while not in contact with the system. Take a look at Cibol, the indoor hydroponic system. These are innovative type of vertical planting system which uses water and nutrient as medium and artificial light as sunlight. The prototype is divided in two parts. One is the physical device and the other is on the Android device. For indoor hydroponic system, the structure consists of two pot racks with 7 holes that is used to attach 7 plants that are attached to aluminum support to support 2 levels of the pot racks. The top and bottom part of the structure has a glass used as support for the circuit part and the reservoir. Inside of it has 4 parts: the irrigation system, the grow light system, trimming system, and the visual output of the system. The irrigation system starts with the reservoir that is a container that can hold a maximum of 28 liters due to the holes that connect its drainage and excess water to its pot racks. For the monitoring part, it is at its normal level when it is between 14 liters to 24 liters. The air pump and water pump are 2 machines that can help irrigate the water from the reservoir to the pot racks. It uses a pump to deliver fertilized water to the grow tray and a drain pipe to recycle the unused nutrient solution. The NFT technique or the nutrient film technique is useful in supplying the needs of a hydroponic system and provide plant growth. This is popular of growing plants in hydroponics because the roots are submerged in water. Another popular method of growing plants in hydroponics is DWC or deep water culture because the roots of the plants are submerged in water as well, and it refers to the type of hydroponics where plants grow with the roots stretching out into the tub of oxygenized water loaded with nutrients. The grow light system uses 2 3 feet T5 fluorescent lights that are used for each pot rack. This is an alternative to the sunlight needed by a plant. Lighting is also scheduled depending on the input of the user. The trimming system consists of an identifier section and the trimming section. The identifier section of the 2 laser sensors and 2 photodiodes that obtain the height of the plants. Once the photodiode did not receive any input from the laser sensor, it means that the plant is the one that is covering it and therefore proceeding to the trimming part of the system. The trimming section consists of the cutting section and the moving section. The trimming section uses DC motor to move the trimmer's blade for the trimmer to cut the plant 1 inch below the pot rack. The moving section consists of a 1-inch aluminum tubular bar enclosed with a sliding motor consists of nuts and bolts. The movement is supported by a NEMA 17 stepper motor and connected with the timing belt to move the speed of the trimmer accordingly. The plant afterwards are gathered with the net below to avoid loitering and scattering of plants once it is trimmed. This is a good addition to the innovation of the vertical planting system. Lastly, the visual monitoring system, which is the physical monitoring system of our device. It uses 3 water level indicators to tell the status of the water level in the reservoir, gauge 22 temperature and humidity sensor, providing the temperature and humidity of the area to help the user adjust the time of the lighting per day. And pH sensors identify the pH level in the reservoir. To sum it up, the physical monitoring system will help the user to identify the conditions around the system to provide the adjustment it needs to provide a better harvest of the plant while in contact. Okay, for the Android device, it consists of 3 parts. The Home tab, which you will see the overview of the system and shows the current status of the schedules. The Monitor tab, where you will see the real-time data and status of the system, including the readings of the temperature, humidity, pH level, and water level, as well as the status of the grow light, irrigation, and trimming system. The last part is the Schedule tab, where you will schedule the time for the trimming, grow light, and irrigation system. Trimming system can be checked any day for 15 minutes to check if the plant reached a certain height. The grow light system is scheduled every day to turn on the light, and it is optimal to schedule it for 12 hours 20 every day, since we are putting it indoors. And lastly, the irrigation system, which is commonly scheduled for 3 times a day for 30 minutes. These are the parts essential for our device in Android. For the results, in terms of the water consumption, it reveals that there is a huge significant water consumption between hydroponics and traditional farming. In traditional farming, water usage is constantly decreasing and consumes only 2 irrigation. On the other hand, the hydroponic farming consumes a big amount of water and start to distribute and circulate in the hydroponic channel system with a small amount of water consumption per day. In terms of the growth, the plant shows the actual reading for each parameter. In case of the pH swing, after changing the nutrient solution of the pH, it gradually back to its normal range. And the plants are not negatively influenced by the pH. In terms of the humidity levels, it ranges between 60 to 80% factor in how much water the plant drinks up. The pH level, temperature, humidity, and water level are within the normal range. For other parameters such as grow light, irrigation, and trimming are based on the schedule set in the system. Temperature is a major factor in the plant's water uptake. All plants need more water as the temperature go up regardless. Even in high humidity, the plants will need to drink up more water when the temperature rises. The light intensity also affects how well and fast the plant can conduct photosynthesis. The cause of pH to change is due to large fluctuations in nutrient solution and water levels. As a whole, Cibol just really showed results that the device is another method of the whole innovative system that can be used in farming setup. As said, the hydroponic system is very essential and can provide so much plant if properly monitored. However, it requires skill and maintain production because power outage can cause damage to the crops, and hydroponics requires much more overhead cost compared to the traditional farming. As we end this presentation, we conclude that the design project aimed to sustain the needs of a plant to grow by providing water with nutrient solution and grow light, but too much light intensity and heat may affect the plants. Based on the experimental results of comparing the traditional farming and the hydroponic system, it can be concluded that growing a plant using hydroponics can grow faster than the traditional farming since the nutrients delivered is directly to the roots. We also proved using hydroponic system can lessen the water consumption by utilizing the water circulation, and the results are based on the experimental review comparing the irrigation system of the hydroponics versus the traditional farming. However, the maintenance of the system is manually operated. The vertical planting is a modern way of cultivating plants. Adaptation of technologies such as automation and monitoring, like the ball device, can be more efficient, time-saving, and less labor to grow a plant, although it can cause high power consumption. In addition, we recommend to build a grow light system using light-dependent resistor that monitors and controls the intensity of the light to protect the plants from extreme amount of light. Develop a cooling system using an exhaust fan that operates when the temperature is in high status. Create a water quality monitoring system that consists of temperature, pH, dissolved oxygen, and turbidity sensors to check the quality of the water that supplies to the plants. Use photovoltaic system, which consists of solar panels with an inverter and other electrical and mechanical hardware that uses energy from the sun to generate electricity to supply the system. We thank you all for giving us this opportunity. We hope you learn from us today. Thank you and have a good day.
Good day everyone, I am Precious Abby M. Guevara and I will be discussing our research entitled Body Pain Assessment on Sitting Time of Fifth-Year Engineering Students of Pamantasan ng Kabuyao during e-learning setup. The world is not ready for the coronavirus pandemic where people did not anticipate this to come. One of the problems faced is the educational system. Students are not ready for this kind of pandemic, that's why it takes time to reopen classes. Then, to adapt to new normal, many universities changed to e-learning setup. This gave researchers an idea to conduct an assessment on what are the possible physical health risks the students may acquire during e-learning setup. Pamantasan ng Kabuyao implemented online classes learning rather than modular learning. Students spend long time doing their schoolworks and most of them complain body pain. For the statement of the problem, first, what is the demographic profile of each respondent in terms of gender and body mass index status? Next, what are the schoolwork activities that the students mostly do during e-learning setup in terms of the schoolwork activities such as online learning, assignment or exercises, online on-the-job training, and research writing. The hours that the students spend on each schoolwork activities. What is the normal break time that the students spend while doing the schoolwork activities? What is the longest amount of time that the students spend on prolonged sitting time while doing the schoolwork activities? Next is, using Nordic body map, what are the common body pains that the students experience while doing their schoolwork activities in terms of middle body parts, right body parts, and left body parts? Next, is there a significant relationship between the sitting time and common body pains that the students experience? Another, is there a significant difference between the common body pains that the students experience when grouped according to their profile? Next, is there a significant difference between the sitting time of the students when grouped according to their profile? And last, based on the findings of the study, what intervention can be proposed? For the conceptual framework, the researchers use a moderator model framework for the systematic flow of the research. For the moderator, it is the e-learning setup. The dependent variable is the body pain, which is the Nordic body map. And for the independent variable is the sitting time. Significance of the study. Students, educators, and implementers, future researchers are the one who will benefit from the study. The research instruments used were survey questionnaire, multiple choice grid question, Nordic musculoskeletal questionnaire, and level of pain. For the scope and limitations, the following engineering programs under the College of Computer and Engineering Department in Pamantasan ng Cabuyao are the scope of the study. First is the Computer Engineering, next, Electronics and Communications Engineering, last is the Industrial Engineering. The study was conducted to 140 total population of the enrolled fifth-year engineering students for the first semester and second semester academic year 2020 to 2021. For the results and discussions, the total response rate is 91% responded and 9% didn't respond. Figure 1 shows that there are 128 out of 140 fifth-year engineering students responded to the survey. For the gender, Figure 2 shows that the results of total male and female respondents who answered on the survey. It indicates that the university have more male engineering students than female. 65% of respondents were male and 35% were female. For the body mass index status, the Figure 3 shows the body mass index profile of the respondents. Based on the results, it shows that there are majority of normal BMI status, which is 60%, followed by 20% overweight BMI status out of the total respondents. The schoolwork activities that the students mostly do during e-learning setup in which they spend sitting time. First, schoolwork activities. This study involves the schoolwork activities that the fifth-year engineering students mostly do during the e-learning setup of Pamantasan ng Cabuyao, which are the results or informations gathered and are the basis in determining the activity that they do most. The researchers defined the schoolwork activities in the survey questionnaire in terms of online lecturing, assignments or exercises, online on-the-job training, and research writing. The discussions of the results from the data gathered are shown in the following sections. Schoolwork activity time. Figure 4 results showed that majority of the students spend 3 to 4 hours in online lecturing, followed by 1 to 2 hours in assignments or exercises. Based on the graph, the students rarely spend more than 8 hours on all activities. For the normal break time, as part of the study regarding the sitting time, the researchers obtained the normal break time that the students usually spend while doing the schoolwork activities in terms of break time and frequency of break time. The data from these are the basis for computation of the normal break time of the students. For the break time, Figure 5 shows the results on how long do usually the students take a break on each activity, and based on the graph, most of them spend 5 to 10 minutes in online lecturing, and the highest response is more than 30 minutes break in research writing activities. For the frequency of break time, Figure 6 indicates that the result regarding the frequency of break that the students usually take on each activity. And based on the graph, majority of them take only one break in doing their online lecturing and online OJT, while the others take 2 times of break in research writings. Determining the normal break time. Table 1, Normal Break Time. Table 1 shows the data regarding the normal break time of the student that was computed based on their break time and frequency of break time. The results showed that their normal break time is 7.5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and 60 minutes for the following schoolwork activities. The data in columns, break time and frequency of break time, are the majority of the respondents from the specific survey question. Prolonged sitting time. The Figure 7 illustrates the result regarding the prolonged sitting time of the respondents. Based on the graph, the students mostly spend an entire 3 hours, 2 hours, 4 hours, and 3 hours for the following schoolwork activities. Majority answered that They spend 3 hours of prolonged sitting time in doing their online lecturing. For the body pain assessment, Figure 8 shows the Nordic body map. Figure 8 represents the Nordic body map that was utilized by the researchers in conducting the body pain assessment of the student using the standardized Nordic musculoskeletal questionnaire. Body pain assessment, middle body parts assessment. Figure 9, middle body parts pain assessment. Figure 9 depicts the result of middle body parts assessment of the students. Majority of students experience light to moderate pain but still tolerable, but on all middle body parts as indicated on the red bar. It is on their majorities on their upper neck. For the right body parts assessment, Figure 10 is the right body parts assessment, and based on the result of the graph, the others experience no pain on lower right parts of the body, like right thigh, right knee, down to their right foot. But some students experiences light to moderate pain but still tolerable on the right wrist. For the left body parts assessment, Figure 11 shows that the result of left body parts assessment. Based on the graph, it shows that majority of the students experience no pain as indicated on the blue bars. Majority answer that they did not experience any pain on their left foot. For the test results between sitting time and common body pains, Table 2 chi-square test results between sitting time and common body pains. It shows that resulting data regarding the chi-square test in determining the significant relationship between sitting time and common body pains. Based on the results, having all the critical greater value than p-value, hence, null hypothesis is rejected, meaning there is a significant relationship between sitting time and common body pains that the students experience during a learning setup of the university. Test results between common body pains when grouped according to their profile. This is test results according to their gender. Table 3 showed the data results of t-test between common body pains experienced when grouped according to the gender. The results indicate that all the computed value is greater than the critical two-tailed, hence there is no significant difference between common body pains that the students experience when whether the gender is male or female. Table 4 is the ANOVA test results between common body pains experienced when grouped according to BMI status and based on data. Only in left body parts have significant difference between common body pains experienced when grouped according to BMI status, having an F value of 4.28 greater than F critical value of 2.84. Test results according to gender. Subsequent to test result between common body pains, Table 5 shows that the chi-square test result between sitting time when grouped according to gender. Based on the computed value, the general result showed that there is no significant difference between sitting time of students whether the gender is male or female. Test results according to BMI status. Table 6 is the test result between sitting time when grouped according to BMI status and based on the computed values only in assignment or exercises activity have significant difference between sitting time of student when it is grouped according to BMI profile. Otherwise, all other activities have no significant difference of sitting time. For the conclusions, first, researchers concluded that most of fifth-year engineering students in the university has majority of male and have the same height and weight according to their body mass index status results. Learners do not have a proper allocation of break time allowances during their schoolwork activities during e-learning setup. Doing the schoolwork activities while sitting for longer time without standing, mostly the pain occur in the middle body parts. Also, pain was also experienced by the students at some parts of their right and left body parts. There is a significant relationship between sitting time and common body pain experienced by students. The longer the students consume sedentary time on a chair, the body pain might occur and therefore can lead to a serious problem. There is no significant difference between the common body pains that the students experience when grouped according to their gender and their BMI status while doing their schoolwork activities in a prolonged sitting time, since the preceding computed value against the critical value of the statistical test shows the same results of hypothesis. The gender and BMI profile has no significant influence with the way the students generally spend their sedentary time facing their gadgets on the desk while whether doing online classes or doing their offline tasks to comply with their school requirement, as they correspond continually to the new environment and setting of classes to help them cope up with the situation amidst the pandemic. For the recommendation, Table 6 shows the current standard break time. It has an average of 28 minutes every 3 hours. For our recommended standard time, it is shown in the Table 7. Average is 10 minutes. Students are needed to have 10 minutes of break time every hour. In line with using of ILO recommended allowance factor by researchers, S. Chan said that allowances are the extra time numbers that must be added to the basic time of an operation to allow for an employee desires, delay operators' tiredness, and exceptional situation in the firm's organization's policies. Another recommendation is that recommended stretches as supporting motion within the 10 minutes break time. The first motion is the shoulder shrug. Another is upper back stretch. Next is side leaning stretch, and next is the neck side stretch, and last one is the downward stretch. Here are the references for the research. So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.